Hello and welcome to the May 22nd edition of Thursday Night Thunder podcast with AJ and MMK. This is episode 20 of the series. I'm your host, Adam Jason Sinclair, and tonight on the most hardcore program on the internet, Michael and I will once again bring you the best discussion about the world of modern motorsports. Before we get going tonight, let me go ahead and thank everybody for listening. We have reached 1,000 downloads for the program since it restarted again in January of last year. This is episode 20, as I stated, of our newly redone program, our reborn program, as it were. So I'd like to thank all of you for listening, no matter what platform you're listening from. Thank you very much indeed. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and send an invite to our co-host. Let's see if we can get this going here. Because apparently she's having some connection issues. I know there's been internet problems all over the country this past few days. So let's see if we can get this straightened out. If not, I can go ahead and move on in the program ahead a little bit and see if we're going to do that here. Again, some of the fun of live internet broadcasting here. Okay, I sent her the link, so let's go ahead and get started on the script from what I've got so far. We're going to go ahead and review some of the stuff that I had the privilege of attending the past month or so. So let's go ahead and get into it now, shall we? Barrett Jackson, the world's greatest collector car auction, has once again generated enthusiasm of the collector car hobby with an incredible Palm Beach auction held April 24th through the 26th at the South Florida Fairgrounds. During this year's ultimate automotive lifestyle event in Florida, Barrett Jackson offered a 100% no-reserve docket of 613 collectible vehicles that realized more than $38 million in auction sales. 6 vehicles sold for a total of $992,000 to benefit charity, bringing the total amount Barrett Jackson has helped raise for important causes since its 1971 founding to more than $163 million. Additionally, Barrett Jackson sold 283 pieces of authentic automobilia for more than $174,000, bringing the auction's total sales to over $40 million, with a 100% sell-through rate. The top vehicles, all selling with no reserve during the 2025 Palm Beach auction, included the 2018 Ford GT Lot 718 for $902,000, a 2014 Lamborghini Aventador LP 700-4 Roadster, lot number 724, for $522,500. A 2022 Ferrari SF90 Stradale Assetto Fiorano, lot number 732, for $495,000. A 1995 Ferrari F512M Topless Spider Conversion, lot number 725, which sold for $440,000. A 2006 MTI 40 RP Miami Vice movie boat, Mojo, lot number 716, which sold for $438,900. The sixth one was a 2023 Ferrari SF90 Stradale, lot number 743, which sold for $429,000. Then, the seventh highest was the 2023 Ferrari 296 GTB, lot number 742, for $297,000. Followed by a 1950 Chevrolet 3100 Custom Pickup, lot number 715, for $291,500. A 2008 Lamborghini Murcielago LP 640 Custom Coupe, lot number 748, for $282,700. And the 10th highest was the 1967 Ford Mustang Eleanor Tribute Edition, lot number 707, for $275,000.
Celebrities attending this year's Palm Beach auction included Edsel Ford II, Frank Siller, David Hobbs, Paul T. Toole Jr., Linda Vaughn, Fabio Iha, and Jerome Bettis. An inspiring $992,000 was raised for charity with the sale of 6 vehicles during this year's Palm Beach auction. The six charity vehicles in Palm Beach included a 2024 2024 Ford Mustang Dark Horse, VIN number 001, lot number 3004 for $325,000 from NASCAR team owner Rick Hendrick, plus an additional $100,000 donation from businessman and philanthropist Ron Pratt, for a total of $425,000 to benefit the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. A 2009 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1, lot number 3003 for $110,000 to benefit Hannah's Home of South Florida. Jerome Bettis, 2025 Chevrolet Corvette Z06, convertible VIN number 001, lot number 3002 for $200,000 to benefit the Jerome Bettis Bus Stops Here Foundation. A 1965 Super Performance MK3 Custom Roadster, lot number 3001.1, $110,000 is what it sold for, to benefit the Breakthrough T1D, formerly known as JDRF. A 2017 Ford F-250 Dwayne Wade Champions Edition custom pickup, lot number 3001 for $60,000 to benefit Social Change Fund United, and a 1994 Dodge Viper RT10 convertible, lot number 3000 for $87,000 to benefit the Florida Highway Patrol Advisory Council.
The automobilia auction included 283 authentic items that all sold with no reserve. The top automobilia pieces sold during the 2025 Palm Beach auction included a 1940s Dunlop Tires neon porcelain clock/sign, lot number 8194, which was $79,350. A 1950s era Chevron oil dealer porcelain sign with animated neon, lot number 7198, for $34,500. A late 1950s to early 1960s Walt Disney/Disneyland Donald Duck Kiddie Ride, lot number 8164, for $23,000. A 1950s Standard Oil porcelain with neon sign, lot number 796, for $23,000. And a mid-1950s Texaco Oil Fuel Island with two Wayne 80 gas pumps, lot number 8176, for $21,850. You can take advantage of advanced ticket pricing at Barrett and Barrett Jackson Experiences for the Barrett Jackson 2025 Scottsdale Fall Auction, October 15th through the 18th, at Westworld of Scottsdale. Join the action by consigning vehicles with confidence using their online application. Bid registration is now open, with 2 packages to choose from and upgrades for Muscle Lounge access. You can join Barrett Jackson's online conversation with hashtag Barrett Jackson and hashtag BJAC on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Are you a race car driver, crew chief, pit member, track owner? Maybe you're just a fan of the sport. Contact us to get your spot on the show. After all, you deserve your 15 minutes of fame, and we'd love to hear from you.
In front of a sellout crowd, the Formula One Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix delivered a spectacular show filled with drama, overtakes, and wheel-to-wheel thrills, with Oscar Piastri emerging as the race winner. The McLaren driver led home teammate Lando Norris across the line for a stunning 1-2 finish. Mercedes' George Russell completed the podium, but it was the McLaren duo's fierce battle with pole sitter Max Verstappen that truly made this 4th edition of the race in Miami Gardens one to remember. From lights out to the checkered flag, the 57-lap contest was packed with action. Off the start, Verstappen held the inside into turn 1, but Norris attempted a bold move around the outside heading into turn 2. The Red Bull driver held his line, forcing Norris wide and dropping the British racer down to 6th. That enabled sprint pole sitter Kimi Antonelli to briefly run second, but he was soon overtaken by Piastri, who then had his sights on the Red Bull ahead.
Over the opening phase of the race, Verstappen fended off relentless attack, first from Piastri, then from recovering Norris. It was a brilliant defensive display from the world champion. On lap 14, Piastri launched a clinical move at turn 1 and seized the lead. A few laps later, it was Norris's opportunity at the first corner, but he failed to get past. The McLaren man then made a move to stick into turn 11 on lap 17, but exceeded track limits and had to hand the place back. The intense duel gave Piastri the braking room he needed. While Norris finally got ahead of Verstappen on lap 18, Piastri had already built an 8-second cushion. Norris gradually reeled him in, slashing the gap to just over 3 seconds at the finish, but the Australian was never truly under threat.
Further behind, there was more mayhem at turn 1 at the start when the Alpine of Jack Doohan made contact with the special pink why can't I say that? Pink liveried. Wow. Excuse me. Racing Bulls machine of Liam Lawson. Doohan was the race's first retirement, and he stopped with a front left puncture that led to a virtual safety car where drivers had to reduce their pace and not overtake. There were two more occasions at a VCS was used to recover cars that had broken down on track. They included Oliver Bierman's Haas on lap 29 and for Gabriel Bortoletto's Sober 4 laps later. Russell made his pit stop during the second VSC, and that enabled him to leapfrog Verstappen for third place. Behind them, the Williams and Ferraris were enjoying their own closely fought battles. The duel for 8th place even came down to the final lap, when Carlos Sainz attempted to pass Hamilton at the last corner. The pair touched, but it was the Ferrari of Hamilton that just managed to stay ahead, capping off a thrilling end to a dramatic race.
Adding to the electrifying lineup of world-class performances over the weekend, Grammy Award-winning DJ and dance music producer Tiesto performed on the gantry above, starring Grid, as well as the post-race podium. Additionally, before Lights Out, there was a heartwarming rendition of the U.S. national anthem performed by a talented local student from nearby Fort Lauderdale, King Bell, a 14-year-old with an extraordinary voice, who was briefly performed at Hard Rock Stadium, home of the Miami Dolphins, and delivered a stirring version of the anthem for a global television audience of millions. On the grid, Dolphins players Tua Tagliavola, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Patrick Paul, and Zach Sealer were joined by head coach Mike McDaniel. A number of celebrities from the world of film, music, and sport were also in attendance, including actors Timothy Chalamet, Terry Crews, Michael Douglas, film and TV producer Jerry Bruckheimer, chef Gordon Ramsay, and musicians Seal, John Bon Jovi, Lisa, Chris Stapleton, and Mike Towers, and artists from the new F1 soundtrack album, released by Apple Music last month, I suppose now. At FIFA Music, President and Gianni Infantino was also on the grid to unveil the FIFA Club World Cup trophy, which was being used at Hard Rock Stadium in June.
Ahead of the Formula One Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix, the 20 Formula One drivers had the chance to test their skills in fully drivable team custom Lego big build cars that replaced the traditional driver's parade truck. Each team had its own custom car in team colors and livery, and the drivers completed a lap of the 3.3-mile track in front of the fans ahead of the race. That was the most fun driver's parade we have ever had, said Hamilton. There was some dirty driving all weekend. The crowd has been incredible, but also on this lap, you really get to see people. A big, big thank you to everyone in Miami for having us. The pre-race ceremonies also featured a performance by Justin Quills, showcasing the music and dance styles of Miami's vibrant culture. Meanwhile, the Hard Rock Beach Club kept the party going all day with performances by Miami resident Pitbull and Sophie Tucker.
Earlier in the day, rain impacted the second race of the all-female F1 Academy Series, as a major downpour arrived just before the scheduled start. All 15 drivers, led by American Chloe Chambers, on pole ahead of her Campos racing teammate Alicia Palmowski, circulated behind the safety car for several formation laps. Even at reduced speeds, a few cars spun on the slick track, with conditions failing to improve. Race control ultimately decided not to start the race. Dorian Pin, who won Saturday's race, left Miami second in the driver's standings, just 1 point behind Maya Wong. Across the 3 days, a total of 275,480 spectators, including myself and my father, flocked to the Miami International Autodrome to experience an exceptional weekend of exciting racing, off-track entertainment, and the very best food and beverage that South Florida has to offer. In its first 4 years hosting a race, the Formula One Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix has established itself as a showpiece event and one of the most desirable to visit on the calendar. During another successful weekend, the race promoter, South Florida Motorsports, also announced a new 10-year extension to make the race the longest contracted in the Formula One calendar, with the race continuing through 2041. That was actually a really interesting race to go down to. I'd like to probably go down there again next year, especially if I'm able to walk around a little bit better. This year was challenging, to say the least, getting around there, but wasn't that bad. The traffic was a pain, but I kind of expected that. The parking wasn't bad. It took almost an hour to get from the turnpike to the parking lot, which was less than 2 miles from where the exit is. But it was fun. It was interesting. Getting from the parking lot to the track was also a challenge, I suppose. It was about a mile walk, so it wasn't awful. But with the fact that I wasn't able to walk that far anyway, without some pain and some issues, we decided to try to take the little bike jitney thing from the parking lot to the stadium. There were a bunch of those around. It looked like a really cool way to travel. So we got on the thing, and the guy said, "Yeah, it'll be 150 each, $150 each to go from the parking lot here to the front gate." That's insane. Um, that's really insane. But people were paying it. I wasn't about to. My dad wasn't about to. That's crazy. But they did have a nice little van that we got for $10 a person, which took us about the mile from the parking lot to the front gate. So that was realistic and that worked. But as they say, the pricing is what the market bears, and apparently the market there could bear $150 a person to go almost just a little over a mile. Um, if you're able to pay that, so much better for you. But considering that the two tickets I got weren't even that much weren't even $150 for the two of them, I wasn't about to pay $300 for my dad and I to go about a mile down the road. But other than that, it was really really neat. The food prices weren't as bad as I'd seen on the news in past years. The food was really good there. The entertainment was interesting. Um, wasn't exactly my sort of cup of tea thing, but it was interesting. It was fun to see, and the people were something too. When you go to other races, no matter what sort of races you go to, people are not as dressed up as they definitely were for the Formula One race, especially women. Um, so that was something to see. Even people who were just in the sort of the travel admission type things, or even the cheaper grandstands like I was in, were kind of dressed up for to go hang out in grandstands to watch the race, and that's something that was kind of cool. It was great to see the race. The seats were great. I'd love to go down there again, like I said. Um, I don't know if I'd go for the Saturday or Sunday, but Friday was fun. Friday was awesome. And as I've said before, Friday, if you're going to go to a 3-day event, the first day when they have the practice and all the different classes on the track is probably the best day. So I'd recommend that again. But it was fun. It was really cool, and I'd highly recommend if you haven't been to a Formula One event and you have one close to you, even if it's not really that close, but it's not too far. I'd recommend trying to get tickets to it. It's really cool. It's a great way to see it, and you see a lot more in person, and you see different things than you see on television. So it's pretty neat. It's a really, really great event. Uh, did you have a chance to watch any of the Formula One race from like 3 weeks ago?
Mm, I've seen bits and pieces of races, but I'm not sure if it was that one. I did see a little bit of it because I remember you saying that you were there and I was looking for you on the screen. So I did see a little bit of it, but yeah, no, I was looking for you. I didn't see you, unfortunately. I could have just lied to you and said, I seen you, you were in that row. Yeah, so that was fun. I mean, whether, I can recall really what I seen, I do recall looking for you and you were like, oh, look right here. I did
Yeah,
do that, so I did
it
do
was
that.
a really cool race, and I'd recommend it. I know the like I said, seeing it on TV is a lot different than seeing it in person. You know that it's a lot different experience. But I'd recommend going at least trying to see at least part of a Formula One race, just because it's Formula One, and Formula One is Formula One, of course. It's one of it's arguably the top motorsports in the world right now. So it was neat. It was awesome, and I'd love to do it again. Um, if I do it again, it'll be next year, and I'll be able to walk around more, hopefully. But it was fun. It was cool, and I'd love to try it again. I probably wouldn't drive, even though my dad drove down this time. I'd probably take the train, just because it's more convenient, and you don't have to worry about truck parking or anything else. You just worry about getting on the bus and having them deal with the traffic. And but take the train down, take the buses, have the other people deal with the traffic, and all you have to do is dealing with getting in and out of the track. So that's an option. I think that's the best option. But parking wasn't awful. It just wasn't as much fun as it could have been. And getting in there, having to sit in traffic for more than an hour, not my idea of fun. But anyway, that's here neither here nor there. And getting home was actually pretty bad. wasn't bad at all compared to what has been in the past. We didn't have to worry about as much traffic. We had to go through Miami traffic a little bit, but it wasn't bad. So it was fun, and I'd highly recommend it again to try to go to a Formula One race. Um, I know the closest one to you was probably one in Vegas, and that'd be a pretty cool race, I think. Especially if you were able to get closer to the get a hotel closer to the strip, one of those sort of hotels, even one that's just a little bit off where you can actually maybe even see something from the hotel room, that'd be pretty awesome too.
Yeah, I do think that would be fun and something to definitely try one day because,
Mhm.
I don't know, just a different experience, I think.
And let's go ahead and move in from the past, moving into the future. This weekend is the busiest weekend in the motorsports calendar for the year. So the first race, of course, is the biggest race. The fairy tale became reality for Robert Schwartzman and Prima Racing as a rookie driver in his first ever oval race, and the first year NTT IndyCar Series team shocked the field to win the NTT P1 award for the 109th Indianapolis 500 presented by Cambridge. Schwartzman from Tel Aviv, Israel, became the first rookie driver to win the pole since Teo Fabi in 1983. He is just the third rookie to win the pole on track and will be the sixth first-year starter to lead the field to green in the greatest spectacle in racing.
The impossible dream came true when Schwartzman ripped off a 4-lap average speed of 232.790 miles per hour in the number 83 Prima Racing Chevrolet during the Firestone Fast 6. Prima, which joined the NTT IndyCar Series this season after years of success in European racing, became the first team to claim the 500 pole in its first attempt since Mayer Motor Racing put Tom Sneva on the pole in 1984. Two-time Indianapolis 500 winner Takuma Sato and Pato O'Ward will join Schwartzman on the front row for the race Sunday, May 25th, 10 a.m. Eastern on Fox, Fox Deportes, Fox Sports app, IndyCar Radio Network. Sato qualified second at 232.478 miles per hour in the number 75 Amada Honda of Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. O'Ward will start third after his Firestone Fast 6 run of 232.098 miles per hour in the number 5 Arrow McLaren Chevrolet.
The remainder of the Firestone Fast 6 participants will comprise the sixth row. 2008 500 winner, realize the second row. 2008 500 winner Scott Dixon will start fourth after his run of 232.052. In the number 9 PNC Bank Chip Ganassi Racing Honda, Felix Rosenquist qualified fifth at 231.987 in the number 60 Sirius XM Honda of Meyer Shank Racing with Kerr Bakachanian. Three-time series champion and current points leader Ax Below, who has won four of the first 5 races this season, qualified sixth at 231.378 in the number 10 DHL Chip Ganassi Racing Honda. The pole was as much incredible as it was improbable. The Prima team, consisting of Schwartzman and his teammate Callum Ilott, completed just 22 laps combined on their opening day of practice, Tuesday, May 13th, because they were behind on preparations for the first 500 and first oval race.
Schwartzman was 33rd fastest out of the 34 drivers on opening day, improving to only 28th Wednesday and falling to 32nd Thursday. But his car came alive on Fast Friday, presented by Turtle Wax, after engine boost levels and horsepower were increased as he ended up 13th. Then, on the first day of PPG Presents Armed Forces qualifying on Saturday, Schwartzman drove into the top 12 qualifying session by ending up 6th. He improved to third at 232.008 miles per hour in the top 12 qualifying session earlier today, I think, maybe, before his stunning run to the pole.
Marco Andretti, Marcus Ambrose, and Rinus VK earned their final 3 spots in the field in last chance qualifying. Andretti, grandson of 1969 Indianapolis 500 winner Mario Andretti, will start 31st in the number 98 MAPI Curb Honda of Andretti Herta with Marco and Curb Gajanian. Armstrong rebounded from a vicious crash Saturday to qualify 32nd at 229.091 in the number 66 Sirius XM Root Insurance Honda of Meyer Shank Racing with Curb Gajanian. VK was the last driver to earn a spot in the 33 car lineup, qualifying 33rd at 226.913 miles per hour in the number 18 Ask ROI Honda of Dale Coyne Racing, and hang on to hope while his rookie teammate, Jacob Abel, fell short of making the field in the last run of the last chance qualifying session. Abel's last-ditch attempt reached 226.394 in the number 75 Miller High Life Honda.
There was unexpected drama at the start of the top 12 qualifying session when the cars of 2 remaining Team Penske drivers in the session Joseph Newgarden and Will Power didn't make their respective one attempt after a violation of IndyCar Rule 14.7.8.16 and unimproved body fit on the rear attenuator of the car. Team Penske's Scott McLaughlin already was relegated to start fourth row for the greatest spectacle in racing after he crashed heavily in turn 2 during pre-qualifying practice this morning in the number 3 Pennzoil Team Penske Chevrolet. McLaughlin was unhurt, but the car suffered heavy damage, and the team elected to focus its efforts on getting a car prepared for McLaughlin for practice Monday afternoon.
Now, there's been some happening since this piece came out. Penske actually has reorganized the team. They fired Tim Cindric, from the head of the organization. They also removed 2 of the IndyCar top managers from Team Penske. So it's going to be interesting to see how Team Penske does this weekend. I know that both the Cindric as well as the guy who works with Power were both let go. They were both the guys who were working as strategists for the IndyCar teams. Cindric, as most of you probably know, was the guy who was in charge of all of Team Penske up until earlier this year, and then he was relegated back to just the IndyCar position, and now they don't have a head of IndyCar division. So there can be a lot of changes at Team Penske. I don't necessarily think that having the changes take place right before the Indy 500 is the best thing for the team, but might be the best thing in the long run. You never know. It'll definitely bring some changes to the team, that's for sure. And you can tell that Roger Penske was not happy. You can tell that Doug Bowles from IndyCar wasn't happy, and it'll be something to see how Will Power and Joseph Newgarden compete in the race with their team strategists no longer employed by Penske Racing. I know Will Powers has not been happy with it. He's been made some comments that he thinks that it's unfortunate that his team strategist was removed this close to the race time. But I'm sure that he'll work with the guy, whoever it is, that they put in charge of his strategy for the race, and he'll try and do his best. But it will probably be a lot different for him compared to what he thought it would be just a few days ago. So, how do you feel about the fact that Penske eliminated Tim Cindric and 2 of their other senior managers before the biggest race of the year for IndyCar?
Well, first of all, I was going to ask you, so did they eliminate them because they felt maybe the violation is something that they shouldn't have looked over? Did they eliminate them because they felt that they should have caught that?
I think so, and I think it's not the first time that there's been issues at Team Penske. Last year they had some push to pass issues with some violations of the rules with that. In the past, they've had issues where they weren't able to qualify for the Indy 500 or other races as well, all under the same tutelage of Tim Cindric. Although Tim Cindric has been in charge of the organization for more than 20 years now. I think this was sort of one of those last straw type things, and it pushed Cindric and the 2 other people who worked with him out the door. So we'll see how that changes. And I know Cindric's been around the sport for a long time. Cindric's son Austin races in NASCAR, so I'm sure it won't be the last time you see him at the track, but definitely the last time you see him in the Penske hat anywhere. So we'll see how that changes, and we'll see how that goes.
So he had a bit of a habit of overlooking things by the sounds of it.
I think he had the thing that Roger Penske says is he's always looking for an unfair advantage, and I think that Cindric may have taken that a little bit too much to heart, and he may have pushed it so that it was a totally unfair advantage. So it was something so far outside the rules that it was time to step down to take responsibility for it and have him just go away. Not to say that there won't be other people at Penske and other teams who are going to try the same sort of thing in the future, but I think that that Penske and IndyCar were trying to make an example of Cindric and the other 2 guys, and it goes to it'll be something to see what happens in the future from that. Whether the people learn the lesson or whether it just moves from one person to another.
There is a saying, and I remember it like the back of my hand because it was told to me when I first started racing. And it was, if you're not cheating, you're not competing. And anyways, it was just always so interesting because it's just, I don't know, it's just interesting, just interesting to see the way other brains work. And
Mm-hmm.
so,
When I
yeah.
went, yeah, it's been when I went to NASCAR to the Hendrick Motorsports, they talked a little bit about the past that they've done, where they had guys who were so good at their at pushing the limit, as it were, that they developed like they had a little in car radio that was functioning, but it was lead blind, so it weighed 3 4 times more than the normal in car radio would. So you can adjust the if it was too light, you adjusted the radio. It made it seem like it could be heavier in the middle of the car, so it just sort of gives it a little bit of different ride height thing. And there's all sorts of things like that that NASCAR has done too, and IndyCar the same way. So as you say, they try and push the envelope as far as they can, and I think in this case they pushed a little bit too far. Um, if you follow Marshall Pruitt any on whether it's through YouTube or through the column on Racer Magazine or through Instagram or whatever, Marshall Pruitt went to the Indy 500 Museum and looked at the car from last year, the Joseph Newgarden car that's in the museum there, winning the 500 last year, and it has the same issue with the attenuator where they did the extra sealing around the outside of it so it smooths it out so the air gets by it quicker. Um, it's been against the law, against the rules for them to do that for several years. But Penske, they apparently, if the people aren't looking, then we'll do it type thing. And I think that's one of the things that that pushed Roger Penske to get rid of the people as well, is he saw that it happened in the past and IndyCar didn't catch it, and now they're using his example, like I said, to say if we caught him now, we're eliminating this guy who's been with the team for 25 years, who's basically been in charge of it for 20 years, and if we're going to do that, then you guys better play by the rules that I set out, or something bad's going to happen to you.
Well, and I would think that being professional at the professional levels they all are, that it would be kind of embarrassing too. Like, what if they would have won the Indy 500 and then got caught at
Mm-hmm.
the very end? That I would think would be kind of embarrassing, for your professional image anyway.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good, and I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say that they're trying to make the be even-handed in the rules and all that, and show they're not cheating. They don't have to cheat to win the race, no matter what you believe. They're showing that they don't have to cheat to win it. Like I said, it'll be something to see how they do. I know they're starting in the two cars that were pushed back in the qualifying field are starting in 32nd and 33rd, as opposed to starting in the fourth row. So that'll be a lot further back in the field. In the 500, it generally doesn't matter as much where you start at, but starting that far back, especially with some new people in the field, including the guy in the pole, could make it something. Especially the fact that the Indy cars this year at Indianapolis, in particular, are not as smooth. They can get out of sorts quicker, especially with fuel loads and that sort of thing, with the tire loads, and they can dance around the track and get upside down and everything else. So the further back in the field you are, the more of a chance you have to get caught up in somebody else's problems, and that'll be something. I don't know how much of the Indy 500 I'm going to be watching this year. I know that I'm going to be planning on watching the 600, and I'm probably not going to be up in time to watch the Monaco Grand Prix, but I'll be trying to watch a little bit of it anyway, and it'll be cool to see. So we'll see how it goes.
Do you think Kyle Larson will? Well, I mean, he wrecked in practice, I do believe. But do you think he'll fare better this year than he did? Was it last year? I think he tried.
Yeah, last year. I think he'll do a little bit better. I don't know if he's going to be in the front. Again, it has to do with the fact that the cars aren't as stable for whatever reason this year, and that's why he and a lot of other people have crashed in practice. But he has a pretty good shot always. You wouldn't count him out anyway. But we'll see. I don't know who the favorite is for this year. I'd go with Schwartzman just because he's the new guy. He's got a lot of passion behind him. He's got not a lot of oval experience, but he's got Ryan Briscoe and other people working with him. So that would be cool to see a pure rookie go ahead and win the race this year. It'd also be really nice to have Marco Andretti do well. He hasn't done very well in the series in several years. Graham Rahal has always had some problems with Indianapolis, especially the past few years. I don't think Rahal is a factor, but if he was, that'd be neat. It'd be cool. Who do you think your favorite is for the Indy 500 this year?
Well, I would like to see Kyle Larson pull it off, just because I think that would be really cool. But I don't know, and I think the Schwartzman guy we were talking about a little bit earlier in the show, sounds like he has a pretty good shot. It really sounds like there's a good handful of them that have a good shot. So I don't know, but I do agree with you. I think, that Schwartzman guy, I think that would be really cool, but there's a few of them that could pull it off.
And it'll be something to see how Fox does with Indy 500 this year. It's the first time they've had it on Fox. Bill Buxton there calling the race with the other two guys, and with Hinchcliffe, and so that'll be something. I didn't like the qualifying quite as much, and didn't look like there were quite as many people in the grandstands anyway for qualifying. It was good, and I think that they did what they can with what they have. I miss the days when there were at least 40 cars trying to qualify and they actually had bumping. Losing one guy, that's not as big of a deal. And trying to turn the Indy 500 into the same sort of thing as every other race that they have, with the Fast 6 and the Fast 12 and all that. Sure, it's fun, but it's not as cool as it was when they used to have the bump day stuff and they used to actually move people around in the field. That was something different, and I don't think that's going to ever happen again unless something really changes. But they're trying the best with what they've got, and we'll see how it goes. I know that in the next couple of years, they actually bring out the new IndyCar design, which they've been talking about for years now, which we talked about with Rick Ware almost 2 years ago on the show. So hopefully they get that worked out. They've made a lot of changes this year with the new engine package, the hybridization of the car, the different weights and everything else. Some of that may not be good. It slowed them down a little bit. It's made them unstable, but they're still going more than 230 miles an hour around the track, and that's pretty impressive anyway. So we'll see how successful the race is, who comes out on top. Your guess is as good as mine as far as who pulls it off, but whoever it is, if they come on this show, I'd be more than happy to talk to them. It'll be cool. So I leave that invitation out for you. I know we've talked to Pat O'Ward several times in this program. If he wins again, I do have his phone number. I'll call him and say hello. Thank you for coming. For congratulations on the win. Come on the show and talk to us. But anyway, we'll see how that goes, and hopefully we have a chance to talk to the Indy 500 winner. I've got my fingers crossed, but not holding my breath on that. We could have in the past, but you never know. This Sunday, fans in the USA can catch the Monaco Grand Prix, 78 laps of 3.34 kilometer, 2.07 mile Monaco circuit. The event starts at 3 p.m. local time, which is 9 a.m. Eastern time. Tight, twisty, and not really suited for modern F1 cars, Monaco is a throwback to the series' origins of the 1950s. With old school glamour and a harbor filled with luxury yachts, Monaco is known as the jewel in the crown of F1. But it's by far the slowest circuit of the year. Overtaking is so difficult that Saturday's qualifying session is arguably more important than the race. With barriers close to the track, even the smallest mistake can mean a crash.
McLaren is by far the most successful team ever in Monaco with 15 wins, but the last of those was 17 years ago when a young Lewis Hamilton took the victory. A rule change means drivers will need to make at least 2 pit stops for tires this year. Charles Leclerc's victory last year was the first time in 93 years. Wow, 93 years. That a driver from Monaco won the Monaco Grand Prix. Louis Chiron won in 1931, 19 years before the F1 World Championship was founded.
Now, the history behind in Monaco is amazing, and it's really cool to see. I haven't had the chance to actually see that, but I know several people who've been out there. I know the captain of one of the yachts is going to be over there this year. Monaco is really cool. I know that I talked a little bit to the guys at the Formula E race in April, and some of those guys are going to be there at the Monaco Grand Prix. Plus, they competed in Monaco a couple weeks ago in Formula E. So Monaco is really awesome. It'd be a neat place to go. I know it's not cheap, but it's if you talk about inflation and that sort of thing and exchange rates, the Monaco tickets are actually cheaper than the Miami tickets are. So it's just traveling and get there, all that. But Monaco's interesting. Monaco's fun, and it's the way to get Sunday racing started. You watch Monaco first, then you watch Indianapolis. Then at night you can watch the race in Charlotte. So that's what makes Sunday the busiest day in motorsports for the year, and it's always really awesome. It's kind of a neat day for motorsports fans, and like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to watch any of the Formula One race. I'll probably watch a couple of highlights. It depends on what time I get up and everything else. I'm probably going to try and watch some of the Indianapolis 500, but not a whole lot. And as I stated, most of my attention, at least this year, will be on NASCAR, just because it's more convenient and the timing is better and all that. So, plus I'm off on Monday, and that kind of makes it easy too. So, you going to try and see any of the Formula One race?
I would like to, and that Monaco race you're talking about, I don't think I've ever really heard of that, and that sounds really interesting too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool. It's neat because they go to there's a huge it's a lot of uphill and downhill things, um, and all the boats. That's pretty awesome too to see all the yachts there, especially since I've had a chance to be on the aboard some of them, so that's pretty neat. Um, Makes it gives it a little bit something different.
Yeah, that does sound different.
Mm-hmm.
Do they televise that one, or do you have to watch it on the internet?
That's on ESPN at
Oh,
9
wow.
a.m. on Sunday. Yep. So it's an international feed, so it's just sort of whatever the Formula One feed is, but ESPN has it on at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Well, I will probably be awake, I'm sure of it, so I
There
might
you
have to
go.
turn that on. That sounds really neat, actually.
Yeah. So, more convenient for you. It was like noontime there. So there you go. So, 9 a.m. for me on a Sunday is sometimes I'm awake for it. Most of the time, not exactly, but sometimes. Sometimes. I was up for it last year, but this year I think I'm probably going to be taking it a little bit more easy on Sunday morning.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's good to sleep in.
Mm-hmm. There you go. And of course, this weekend marks the 127th running of NASCAR Cup Series race at Charlotte Motor Speedway. On the oval, the inaugural Cup Series event at Charlotte took place on June 19th, 1960. The last 8 Coca Cola 600s were won by 8 different drivers. Martin Truex Jr. is the only repeat winner in the last 13 races. The Coca Cola 600 was the longest race of the season, based on time, 6th of the last 8 years since the stage era. It is 579 miles from Indianapolis Motor Speedway to Charlotte Motor Speedway, approximately a 9-hour drive, or it would be just a little bit over an hour by airplane, which is what Kyle Larson is hoping to do, as long as all the ducks fall in a row and everything works out this year.
This weekend on track action features all 3 major touring series Friday, May 23rd, you got the NCTS practice and the Kennemetal pole qualifying on FS2 at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. The ARCA race, General Tire 150 on FS1 at 6 p.m. Eastern. And the NCTS race, North Carolina Education Lottery 200 on FS1, MRN Sirius XM at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Saturday, May 24th, you got the NXS practice at Kennemetal pole practice and Kennemetal pole qualifying the CW on the CW app at 11 a.m. Eastern, the NCS practice and Busch Light pole qualifying on Amazon Prime PRN Sirius XM at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. In the NXS race, Bet MGM 300 on the CW network PRN Sirius XM at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And Sunday, May 25th, the NASCAR Cup Series race, Coca Cola 600 on Amazon Prime, PRN, Sirius XM at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the race coverage is on Prime Network this year. It's the first time they're going to have the NASCAR on Prime. It's the first time the Coca Cola 600 has been on a streaming platform alone. So that'll be interesting. I think it's like the next 6 races of NASCAR are on Amazon Prime as the only broadcast option. So I'm curious to see how that goes ratings wise. I know it'll probably be a little bit of a hit for them, at least for the first race. But I think that they're using the Coca-Cola 600 as a selling point to get people to subscribe to Prime to do whether the little $8.99 a month sample thing, you can go on and get the $14.99 a month full thing, where you get the Amazon shopping as well as the TV. So it'll be neat. I think that seeing Dale Earnhardt Jr. behind the in the game, working with Steve Letarte with Alexander. So a lot of things trying out differently for different cameras. You can actually select on speed back in the day when you used to have. They're going to be trying some different things, including Amazon Prime. Okay. There it goes. Looks like our network got a little funky there for a second, but it'll still be cool to see the race on Amazon Prime on Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be really neat. Do you have an ability to watch Amazon Prime for the race, or what do you think they're going to? How do you think it's going to go?
Well, I don't personally have Amazon Prime, and I probably shouldn't be saying this over the airways, but I'll probably just use my brother's. So I think I'll be able to watch it, and yeah, I'll use my brother's. As for how well it's gonna go, just kind of, I don't know. There's a first time for everything, I guess. And I don't know, but it would be. It just would be cool for it to be successful. It would be cool for it to be successful. So, how do you think it will go?
I think it'd be pretty good. I think that it'll definitely be something different. I know it's just a different step. Back when I was much younger, they had the NASCAR was basically on. It was either on ESPN or it was on the National Network, which was both those behind the paywall thing. I think this is just another step to go in the same sort of direction, and to put it in a way that the NASCAR can make it a little bit different, a little bit more money, I suppose, but a little bit different money as well. And I think it's probably one of the future things, as we've seen with other racing series, some of the stuff that's on flow racing and that sort of thing, where you have to pay extra to see it. Just like IndyCar used to be pretty much on Peacock Network. Now that they've moved to Fox, it's different. But IndyCar, for some of their races last season, in the past few years, has been exclusively on Peacock, as opposed to being on NBC's normal broadcast channel. So I think it's just a different step and I hope it's good. I hope it'll be something different. I think it'll be good for the to give people options on seeing it. I hope it's really good. I hope they actually have a better coverage for it because NASCAR's trying some different things. They've got that. They've got the Sumo thing, which I had an article about the other day on the Racing News and Views page. So NASCAR's trying to move in a better direction, I think, coverage wise, and I hope that this is a good step in that direction.
I would kind of like to know though, why Amazon? And it's not like it's bad or anything. It's not bad, but why Amazon instead of somebody that's more, well, not more, but somebody that is like a racing network already? Do you know why they picked to team up with Amazon?
I don't know, but I know that the fact that NASCAR is no matter where they are, they've got pretty much the same people who are working on it. I think a lot of that's from the NASCAR production team in Charlotte. They bring in their own people, all the announcers and all that. They work for NASCAR more than they work for the channels. So it doesn't matter where they end up as long as as long as NASCAR has basically the control of the broadcast. They bring in their own people. They tell them what they're going to do. So it's just wherever NASCAR gets the best deal. But they think they get the best bang for the buck, and apparently they're thinking it'd be that with Amazon, and I hope they're right. I, for me, especially, it's easier to watch the racing on Amazon than it is to watch on other platforms, just because the connection's better and all that. But we'll see how it goes, and we'll see if as long as it turns out better than some of the other exclusive stuff they've had on Amazon in the past. I know and Netflix and that sort of thing. But in the past, sometimes when they have exclusive things, the bandwidth they put out is not quite as good as it could be, and it gets boxy or whatever. But I'm hoping they work that out, and hopefully it's good.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. That would be kind of neat.
Yeah, we'll see. And of course, moving on from racing news, we have to touch on the fact that the today was one of the biggest deals in the past 70 years in the history of theme parks. Because this year, today, the countdown to Epic has officially begun as Universal Orlando Resort's anticipated fourth theme park, Universal Epic Universe, officially opened today, May 22nd, unlocking the portals to 5 astounding worlds that bring life to extraordinary adventures that go beyond guests' wildest imaginations. Universal Epic Universe is the most ambitious theme park Universal destination and experience has ever created, and will be the next game changer for theme park entertainment. With a total of more than 50 incredible experiences that range from groundbreaking attractions to breathtaking entertainment, to incredibly themed dining and shopping, and so much more. Epic Universe will present a level of theme park immersion and innovation that is unmatched across 5 themed worlds: Celestial Park, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic, Super Nintendo World, How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, and Dark Universe. And anchoring the park is Universal Helios Grand Hotel, a Lowe's hotel, a majestic 500-room property that will offer one-of-a-kind views of the park and feature its very own decade entrance into Epic Universe for hotel guests.
The opening of Epic Universe will transform Universal Orlando Resort into a week-long vacation destination comprised of 4 theme parks that are home to the most innovative theme park experiences ever created, 11 spectacular hotels that are destinations unto themselves, and more, forever changing the landscape of the award-winning destination. Universal Epic Universe is a radically transformational theme park experience that will fully immerse guests in beloved cross-generational stories that empower them to be the epic heroes of their adventures. Located just a few miles from Universal Orlando's current offerings, Epic Universe will feature breathtaking multi-sensory environments, impeccable design, and innovative technology throughout, creating an entirely new level of experience that will forever change theme park entertainment. Guests will explore 5 spectacularly themed worlds, an array of unique dining, shopping, and entertainment experiences, and so much more. Epic Universe will also be adjacent to 3 new Universal hotels co-owned and operated by Lowe's Hotels and Company, including sister properties Universal Stella Nova Resort and Universal Terra Luna Resort, and the majestic Universal Helios Grand Hotel, a Lowe's hotel, which is located at the theme park. For more information information about Universal Epic Universe, visit www.universalorlando.com/epicuniverse.
I think it'll be really awesome to head up to Epic Universe sometime in the fall. Hoping that happens. I know that today they had some issues there. I'm hoping they get the issues worked out. It's been open unofficially. It's been open for technical rehearsal for about a month now. So hopefully they're able to get all their issues worked out. And today the main issue they had was with the Ministry of Magic ride. Um, it was open. It opened like 6 hours after the theme park opened. But I haven't heard any issues since then. I've been trying to monitor it online with through social media channels and all that. I wanted to have a guy on who's actually been to Epic Universe. He was unfortunately unable to come on tonight, but he will be on in the future. He's been on the program before, talking about his experiences with all different sorts of racing and that. And he does cover theme parks as well. If you check out his channel on View from the Cheap Seats on YouTube, I'd highly recommend that. So I know you've been to a few theme parks. You head out to the one there in Idaho every so often. What do you think about the new Epic Universe theme park?
Well, it sounds like they have a really good variety of, I guess they call it worlds, I think, maybe. So it sounds, that sounds cool. And the variety will draw, all sorts of different walks of life to their park. So I think that's pretty neat that they put variety in there. So it's not just like a one size fits all. It sounds like you should truly be able to find something to do, something that you like. So I think that it's really cool. And I think, hopefully a lot of families get to go enjoy it.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be a neat thing. I'm not sure where we're going to stay when we head up there. I'm not even sure about the whole. We're in just sort of the very beginning of planning stages for it, but it'll be interesting. So the thing I'm most looking forward to is heading up to Orlando and going to a theme park again. It's been way too long, but I think Epic Universe is a game changer, as it were. It's the biggest thing that's happened in theme parks in a long time. They're doing a lot of innovative things there. For anybody who's been to Universal Orlando before, if you've been to the Harry Potter attractions there already, this takes it to a whole different level with the technology, especially the animatronics are kind of cool looking from the pictures I've seen. The immersion is amazing from what it looks like, and the fact that the buildings are just huge. Supposedly, it's going to be like just walking into Paris. It's I believe it's the 1930s. So there's all different sorts of fancy architecture things. You got the basically the Arc de Triomphe type thing as you walk through. So it looks pretty cool. Monsters Incorporated, Monsters Unchained section, Dark Universe looks really awesome as well, with all the Universal Monsters thing there, especially the ones that are wandering around. That's always a neat thing, especially if you like interacting with people like that. So Halloween fans look like they'd enjoy it. For the Isle of Berk thing with the How to Train Your Dragon, I am looking forward to seeing the How to Train Your Dragon movie this summer. That comes out on June 13th. So as soon as I see that, I'll have a little bit more information about whether the Isle of Berk thing would be cool. That looks really neat. Got the water ride thing, which looks actually very similar to the water ride they've got in Legoland, Florida. Already, if you've ever been there, you know more about that. I'm surprised people haven't been making that sort of comparison. But if you watch any of the coverage they've had of it, it looks a lot like the one they've had there in Legoland. The quest for Chi, I think, is what it is in Legoland. And then they've got the flying dragon ride, of course, and the other roller coasters there. They've got a dueling coaster in Celestial Park, which looks pretty awesome. But I think that the best dueling coaster I've ever been on, the best dueling coaster they had there at Universal originally, and Islands of Adventure was Dueling Dragons. They'll never have a coaster that cool. But Celestial Park does look like it's almost that good. So a lot of really interesting things there. And of course, Nintendo World, for anybody who grew up with the Nintendo Entertainment System and spent way too much time hanging out with the Mario Brothers or Donkey Kong before that. That's really neat looking, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. I do like Donkey Kong. I used to spend a lot of time playing that, and Super Mario Brothers as well. Although I didn't do as well with Super Mario. But yeah, I did see the movie for that the other day. That was really fun. So it'll be neat to see that in person. Um, all those sort of things are pretty cool. Um, Staying at Helios looks really awesome, but I don't know if it's worth the money they're charging for it. More than $500 a night now, even with Ford discounts. That's still an awful pricey thing to do. I suppose if it's one of those sort of things that you get a chance to do only once in your life or whatever, it'd be awesome to go down there and check it out. But there's a lot of other places to stay in Universal and Orlando in general that are a lot cheaper. You're paying for the convenience. You're paying for the fact you're staying at the hotel right at the theme park and all that. But um, it goes to see that it goes to see that you'll never know how good it is till you've actually been there. But I think that's still an awful lot of money to spend just for going to spending the night at a theme park resort. But then again, haven't been there yet. Looking forward to seeing it. Looking forward to seeing what it's like. Um, all the videos I've seen are pretty awesome. I did watch a little bit of the coverage of the opening today. Watched a little bit of the coverage of the past few days, the media events. I think that seeing some of the actors that they had there was pretty awesome. So hopefully it does really really well. Hopefully it's a and hopefully it stays as easy to get access to as it did today. It looked like so. The timing was pretty good. Didn't see any. The only rides I saw that had really long waits were the Ministry of Magic thing, and a lot of that was the delay. And sending an inline for more than 4 hours isn't my idea of fun, no matter how exciting the ride's supposed to be. But hopefully it stays reasonable, and hopefully it's a really good event, a really good place to go, and good place to see over the next few years. Hopefully it'll be really really awesome, and I'm looking forward to it. I think that the it's something that we've needed here in Florida for a long time. New investment, and hopefully it pushes the people there at Disney World to do something new and exciting as well, uh, because they have to keep up. And every time that Universal does one thing, Disney does something else, and it pushes the envelope a little higher and it makes it a little bit better. So when's your next big theme park vacation?
I'm not sure. I was just talking to my sister about that because she went with my nephew's like band group or something, and she said it was really fun. Which I know it's fun because I've gone a couple times, and I've even invited her. And do you think she ever goes with me? No. So probably soon. I'm hoping this summer, maybe this summer. But it's one of those theme parks that you really have to hit it at the right time. And I know
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of pretty much all theme parks, really. But
Mm-hmm.
this one is kind of tricky. And if you don't hit it at the right time, you're going to be stuck in line trying to get into the theme park forever. And then, the lines in the theme park are already super long. So you really have to go at the perfect time.
Yep.
But it is cool, and I do plan on taking a trip this summer. So, what about you? What's your next theme park adventure?
Hopefully sometime this fall. That's what we're talking about now. Gotta wait. But if everything goes well, it'll be right around Halloween. We'll go probably the week from the Wednesday before Halloween to the Wednesday after Halloween to spend the whole holiday week there in the Orlando area, doing a little bit of Disney, a little bit of Universal, maybe even going to the Halloween party, maybe seeing some of the Christmas stuff because that happens right at the beginning of November. So that's our plan is to try and hit both Halloween and Christmas at the same week. We've done that before, but before it wasn't really planned. It just sort of happened because we did Halloween here in Florida, and then we flew out to California and did the Christmas thing, and that was like about a week or so later. So, um, but it'll be neat to see. Uh, Heck, it's neat to see it in any theme park. It's been more than a year and a half, I think, something like that since I've been to a theme park thing, which for some people isn't that long, but for somebody who's been there more than a few times a year for the past 20 years. It's a long freaking time. So um, I'm hoping that everything works well, that I'm able to go down there and go up there in the fall. We're still planning on taking the train. Brightline is awesome for anybody who lives in the state of Florida who has the chance to travel on Brightline between South Florida and Central Florida. It's a great way to go. It takes a lot of stress out of driving. It takes a lot of stress having to stop for the restroom. It takes the stress out of having to stop for food because all that's available on the train. You should go and there you go. So that'll be neat, and hopefully that works. That's our current plan, but hopefully it works out.
Are you somebody that enjoys theme park rides?
Most of them, yeah. I didn't used to be. Actually, when I was little, I wasn't as big of a roller coaster person. But then as I got a little older, I really appreciate it more. So now I'm sort of halfway. I'm torn between. I do some roller coasters, but I don't do really insane ones. Um, to be like a simple, I'd love to go on Tron there at Magic Kingdom. That looks really neat. But I don't think I'd go on the dueling coaster at Epic Universe because the inversions aren't my idea of fun. I probably wouldn't go on Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure again because it's way too intense. But the smaller coasters are fun. Um, Most of the rides are really neat, especially rides that are simulator type rides. I love Star Tours. Some people think Star Tours is hokey, but I love the simulator ride like that. And yeah, uh, I like the Millennium Falcon there at Hollywood Studios as well. Um, but and I like the old school ride things too, like the dark rides, the Pirates of the Caribbean, that sort of thing. So
I bet the dark rides are kind of spooky.
yeah, sometimes, sometimes, but just depends on what you're into. Even if you go to like Living with the Land at Epcot, that's pretty awesome. Because it's a little bit of a combination of a dark ride thing and then you're going through a greenhouse. That's really fun too. So kind of cool. What's your favorite theme park fair type ride thing?
Mm, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really picky. I kind of enjoy them all, but I enjoy going upside down. And I know that's kind of weird. Not everybody enjoys going upside down, but I enjoy the rides that go upside down. So I don't know. I guess any of them, but I guess the majority of them do go upside down. So I don't know. I ride them all. I enjoy them all. I think they're all fun and yeah, but probably the ones that go upside down, or at least for more than half a turn, I guess.
Yeah, I the first major roller coaster I went on when I was in my late 20s was again talking about the dueling dragons there at Islands of Adventure. That was awesome. But that had I think they said it had six inversions, full inversions, and I got off that and I was not having the most fun. It didn't make me feel as good as it could have. And the kid next to me was sitting there. It was probably about 10. Looked over and said, "Is that it? It has six inversions. You're going 63 miles an hour.
You're like, yeah,
Is
kid,
that it?"
that's it.
So, but it was fun. It's the sort of thing I'd like to do every so often. But it's not my idea of. I'm not like some of those insane people who go on the roller coasters again and again and again and again. And again. I'm not going to stand in line all day for it. But if it's there, I'll think about it. I prefer the slower rides though. Um, but yeah, then again, everything depending on how it is, everything has its own purpose. Everything has its. It can all be interesting. It can all be fun. At least to try one time. So
True. My brother and I at the fair. It's been like when I was quite a lot younger. I don't know if I could do this now, but we went on one of the rides. Nobody wanted to ride it. And so my brother was like, Michael, do you want to ride it? Anyways, we went on that ride like 20 times in a row. And it got to the point where he wasn't stopping the ride to kick us off because we were just riding the ride. And I did regret that. I did regret that. I probably, even like a handful of times probably would have been fine, but I had a very bad headache after that. So I kind of learned my lesson about riding things more than one time in a row. So, yeah, we kind of learn lessons the hard way sometimes.
yeah, yeah, that's something. It's not. I don't. I've never actually done that. I've had a couple times, I suppose, at Disney way back when the what is it the water ride thing there is now Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Big, but I forget what the name it was before. It was themed to the Briar Patch, but it was we went on that like 3 times in a row, and or I did. My wife didn't come with me, but I went on it, and then one of her friends was on it with their kids. But it was interesting. But I think that going through one time is enough, and then you can take a break and think about going out again if you feel like it later. But for a lot of those rides, one time's enough. One time for that trip is fine. There's only certain rides that'll go on more than once, like the going to Animal Kingdom, going on the Kilimanjaro safaris. If you go on that more than once, you see something totally different the next time. Going on some of the Harry Potter attractions, going to the one at the the one at the Islands of Adventure. Go on that one, you can see things a little bit different because you get a little bit different perspective depending on which way the car goes. So, but a lot of the rides you dig in what you can, and then the way I've done it anyway, at least lately, is you don't try and hit everything. You hit the things that have the best right wait times. You don't want to wait all day in one line, like you said. You don't want to wait in line for everything, but you go through and you see what you can see, and you just have a good time. That's the key to everything. I think is as long as you're having fun and you think you're getting a good value for your money. That's what makes it more enjoyable anyway.
Yeah, it's almost better to just go with the flow when you go to
Mm-hmm.
like an amusement park, because if you try to plan out your day and you're like, I'm going to hit this ride and then I'm going to walk across the park and go to this ride, it does almost kind of waste more time trying to be all, prim and proper about it. Whereas like you said, if you go to the rides that have the less lines and stuff like that, you can definitely get a little bit more for your money. So sometimes it's best to go with the flow with cases like that, I guess.
And And with that, we'd like to thank all of you for listening tonight. It's been a little bit different show, but hopefully you enjoyed it. And I'm going to be trying to do a few different segments like this in the future to try and focus, of course, on motorsports and that sort of thing, but bring in a few different things as well. Just try and make it a little bit more exciting of a program to change up some in the future. But again, stick to the Drown Motorsports idea because that's what we enjoy. That's fun. That's a good thing, but bring in a few different things as well, especially during the summer. Give you some different ideas as to what's going on, and what you can do to spend your free time. So, with that, be sure to check out past episodes of Thursday Night Thunder by visiting facebook.com/SD Thursday Night Thunder. Listening to previous episodes of this show at Thursday Night Thunder Podcast.podbean.com. You can also find it on Podchaser and on iHeartRadio, Boomplay, Spotify, and Player FM, as well as on YouTube at youtube.com/ForBorePlums, FABORPLUMBS. If you'd like to support the show, be sure to check out the new fan club feature on the Podbean app. You can visit podbean.com/user-live-fanclub/1123570-DPDY4. Or if you didn't catch that, simply go to facebook.com/SD Thursday Night Thunder. I've got that as one of the pinned posts up at the top of the page. You can go ahead and check it out there. Easiest way to do that is to go, of course, to the Podbean app, because I haven't figured out how to do it through the website. But you go to the Podbean app; it's a little bit easier to check out the fan page. I'd like you to try and look at that. It's really good to have your support. I also invite you to check out my new racing news site at motorsportsnewsandviews.wordpress.com. I did post a ton of articles about the world of racing the past week. I did fall a little bit behind. I apologize for that, but I did post a bunch of articles on racing this past week. A lot of stuff about the Indy 500, a few things about the Coke 600, a few Formula One articles, and some other things you might want to check out. So be sure to check that out. In addition, if you're a fan of South Florida, and who isn't, be sure to check out the latest news and information about our slice of paradise, my travel blog, Barborplin's Fantastic Finds. You can be found on Facebook at FABORPLUMBS Fantastic Finds, on Twitter at PB Happening is the easiest way to find that, and by heading to ForOurHomesFantasticFinds.wordpress.com.
Thank you for listening, and we look forward to seeing you again next week in the Thunderdome as we discuss the major issues in the world of modern auto racing.
Thanks again, and have a great night.